What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to an all new episode of Let's Talk Lions. This is actually the second time that we are live streaming here on the channel, this time by my lonesome, but not really because you're all here with me. Thank you for joining. I can see you guys all in the chat room. Thank you guys for dropping in and just hanging out. I hope you do all have a cup of coffee with you because that's the entire idea today, to just kind of chill, to talk some Lions, answer your questions live. Yesterday, I put out a post basically being like, hey, drop your questions in, give me some time to think about it. Maybe I'll make some segments out of it. And now I can see you guys all in the chat. So thank you for joining me. I don't know what you guys got planned on this Saturday, but I do have with me the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. I just started reading the Lord of the Rings again, and I will say it is a phenomenal book. If you have not read it, please do. It's unbelievable. Tolkien is just an animal, but that's not what we're talking about today. No, we are here to talk Lions. And so thank you everybody for getting your questions in yesterday. I will be watching the chat so that I can just kind of talk to you guys, see what you got. Thank you for liking this video because you doing that helps me out. You guys are all awesome. Appreciate every single one of you. I do see that we have questions about the pie recipe for the key lime pie. I will post that in the next video for you, Mr. Devin Peters, because you deserve it. And I'm not going to lie. That pie was probably one of the best ones I've made, at least in a long time. So let's begin. A couple of the questions that I asked you guys 4 questions. The first one that came from Xander Shea. I think I got that right. A lot of times with the X in the front, you just go with that Z sound. And if that's actually your name, Xander, my God, you are a blessed individual. Let's see here. Are there any moves that the Lions coaching staff have done or made that you don't like or disagree with? And what would you have done differently? Honestly, Xander, I mean, I'm just shooting it straight with you. I like pretty much everything we've done this off season. Now, last year, had you asked me that, I would have had a lot of problems. I did have a lot of problems. This year, the only move that I don't really love so far is our kicker, Randy Bullock. Quite frankly, all I can see, all I see is him shanking that ball against the LA Chargers and Joe Burrow's face when he looks to the side, watches it, and then makes eye contact with a split second with the camera. That's all I see. Randy Bullock is pretty much the only one thus far. And it's hard because when you look at Randy Bullock's stats, I did an entire video about it. Randy Bullock's stats were awesome. They're really incredible. Within extra points, he's making 90%. And then pretty much everything up to the 50-yard line, he's at like an 85 percentile. And so he is a really good kicker. But you know when something bad happens and it just sears into your brain cavity, that's Randy Bullock for me. I'm gonna miss Matt Prater, and I know you are too. But hey, like I said, his jersey should be on sale, so I want to get that baby in a color rush. Ooh, God, that'll be nice. Looking at here, we have 50. We'll take one from the audience. 50 Kaze. I am so sorry, my man, for getting that wrong. Who are we drafting? That's a good question. I will say this regarding the draft thus far. There are so many available opportunities that will bring the Detroit Lions down different paths, different routes. I feel like it is the Oregon Trail when you can just make 100 different decisions, and no matter what, you're going to die of dysentery in the end. But things are looking a little bit better. Oh, I see you're saying, who are we drafting in the first round? That was my assumption. Quite frankly, with the amount of opportunities, and this kind of leads me into somebody else asked the question, basically going into, I'm sorry, I'm looking for it. I made a banner. I can't quite find it. But basically the question, hey, who are we drafting in the first round? Is there anybody that you don't like? Honestly, I am not going to be upset unless we draft a quarterback. I want to hear what you guys think about that. But really, truthfully, the only thing that I don't think the Lions should tap into is a QB this year. Zach Wilson was the quarterback that I wanted. He was the quarterback that I wanted halfway through last season, just kind of watching. I was like, this is the guy I want to sit under Matt Stafford. Now, with everything that has changed, Zach Wilson my guess is going to the Jets at numero dos. It has to be Zach Wilson going to the Jets. And so if the Lions can't get Wilson, I don't want Justin Fields. I don't want Mac Jones. I don't want Trey Lance. I don't want any of those other guys. Zach Wilson was the number one that I wanted as a quarterback, mostly because Trevor Lawrence didn't stand a chance. And Zach Wilson has made a lot of progress, especially in this offseason. And his pro day was truly, truly beautiful, really displaying a lot of his talents, a lot of his skills. And so Zach Wilson was it. So what I'm getting at here, my man, is there is nobody out of Kyle Pitts, Sewell, Slater, Chase, Devontae Smith, like out of all these guys that are really the possible draft choice for the Detroit Lions, none of them are going to make me upset. Like on draft night, when I see in the Lions choose, the only one I'm going to get upset at is if a quarterback's name is rung through the atmosphere like a bell. That's pretty much it. I see a lot of people kind of talking about Micah Parsons in here and also Marcus Robinson. No QB. I'm with you. No QB. No QB. I received a question regarding, where is it here? Right here from Jonathan Foster regarding Micah Parsons and really regarding the allegations. He says, what do you make of the allegations on Parsons from Penn State? With that aside, taking that even out of context, who is the player you want most, irrespective of need? Jonathan Foster, great question. Looking at this first part, Micah Parsons. I talked about him in my last Q&A session. We have all made huge mistakes in life. We all have. I've made my fair share of mistakes. And if people looked at me when I was 20 years old and said, you will forever be that, a decade later, I would still be that, And so when I look at a guy like Micah Parsons, who made terrible, terrible decisions and the allegations against him, I believe in grace, and I believe in showing the young man grace and love and giving him a second opportunity, especially because the brain doesn't develop as a male until you're 26. So basically, you're just going to make a lot of dumb choices until you turn 26. That's all I'm hearing. And so I'm not downplaying it. I'm not downplaying the seriousness of the situation. But what I am saying is you have to show people opportunity of grace and forgiveness. And that's just my personal belief. You don't have to by any means, but that's how I'm going to live my life. So when I look at him and I look at the allegations, I will not hold him to that standard forever for the rest of his life. I don't think that's quite fair, if you will. So looking at him and looking at his play style, looking at like Micah Parsons is a beast on the field. And so the second part of this question is with that aside, without looking at the allegations at all, who's the player you want most? It's Micah Parsons. It's Micah Parsons. And I know everybody in the chat room, you guys all know that. Very specifically, our defense has been the abomination of desolation. It has been so terrible. And I can't handle one more season of sitting there just watching the opposing QB sit in the backfield like Jean-Ralphio dancing all day and then chucking deep balls. Like, I can't do that anymore. The amount of games, I want you to really enter into your mind, okay? Take yourself back. It's October. It's the second week. What are we at? Game 3, 4, 5. You're sitting there watching, and the opposing QB is just running around, and nobody on our defense can even get there. Let that frustration sink in deep into the heart. I can't handle that anymore. And I don't think you can either. And it's very difficult with a lot of the options with great wide receiver talent, with Sewell sitting there, potentially making his way to 7. So when I look at it, That is what I want. I would like Micah Parsons at 7, at least at this point. Now, there are many, how do you say it? Like I was saying earlier, there's many paths, many options available. Specifically, I want to talk about Sewell. Now, I got Carl Cameron in the house. My man, Carl. Micah Parsons, yes, I'm with you. That's the guy that I want. I think we all also, let's get Rafiki Gaming in there. LOL at John Ralphio. I have been told multiple times in my life that I remind people of him, which I can't figure out if that's an insult or endearing. it feels it feels like an insult, but what are you gonna do? You gotta live your life. So when I look at a guy like Penei Sewell and what he offers, what bothers me is that both Penei Sewell and Slater opted out in the 2020 season, right? And I don't blame them. I don't blame anybody for opting out. What bothers me is you have all of this talk around, oh, generational talent. And that word starts getting tossed out there over and over again. And it almost bleeds into your brain or your way of thinking, where you hear people say, oh, he's a generational talent 100 times. So by 101, you're like, yeah, that guy's a generational talent. Well, I really would have liked to have seen both Penei Sewell and Slater play in 2020. It is what it is. They are both phenomenal. I'm talking top 10, if not top 15 picks between the two of them. Penei Sewell is a top 5 pick to me. I think we all have the understanding that Penei Sewell should go to Cincinnati, right? I mean, you guys tell me, what do you think? I think that Penei Sewell should go to Cincy, because here's my thing. Look at what happened last year. Look at poor Mr. Burrows. And if you can't keep Joe Burrows healthy, if you can't keep Burrow healthy, your first round pick was a waste, and that talent that Burrow offers is forever negated, and you are indeed the Cincinnati Bengals. So to me, you have to, if you're Cincinnati, you absolutely cannot draft Kyle Pitts. You cannot draft Chase. You have to draft Penei Sewell. Do you guys agree with me or not? Jonathan Foster, again, just bringing it in. If they don't draft Sewell, Burrow will get himself killed. Yes, 100%. 100%. You have to protect your quarterback. And so that's where a lot of people have brought up, they're like, all right, well, let's just say that Sewell gets passed up by Cincinnati because they're all dumb and they make a terrible decision. If Sewell gets passed up, do the Lions draft Sewell? Drop your thoughts in the chat for me. Let me know, what do you think? Honestly, what do you guys think? If Sewell gets passed up by Cincinnati, do you want the Lions to pick him up? Now, that is creating a dirty line for years to come. Our O-line would be beefed up incredibly, impeccably, beautifully. It's a shame it didn't happen when Stafford was here. However, can we actually draft anything but a defensive player in the first round? It's tough because, and this is what I'm saying. This is why on draft night, when we pick up whoever we pick up, if we drafted Sewell or Slater or Pitts or Chase Smith, doesn't matter. Micah Parsons, if we draft even Kwity Paye, if we were to draft any one of those guys at number 7, I'm probably going to do this. My guess is I'm going to lean back and go, okay, well, I don't hate it. like, because you are forfeiting and foregoing so many other avenues. It's just the type of thing where I look at the Lions, I feel like defensively we need so much help because, the old saying is defenses win championships unless you're Tom Brady. I think when you look at it, all in all, the Lions have to go defense. I got a lot of people in here, Lions fan, one Paulie, just want a defensive player. I don't blame you. Our defense has been absolute poop for far too long, and it really needs, because Okwara was the best shining hope for the Detroit Lions last year. Thank God we re-signed him for what we did. Let's see here. Trevor. Wow, let's see here. Trevor Tarantowski. Hopefully I got that right. What would you consider to be a successful 2021 season in terms of record, player development, and coaching staff, etc.? That's a great question, Trevor. I appreciate it. In order for 2021 to be successful, first and foremost, I want people to actually love playing in Detroit. That's number one. Number one, what is a success is a locker room of absolute buying in. We need these players to buy into the plan, into the map of where the Lions are going. If we can get buy-in, that's step number one. You look at a guy like Jamal Williams, when he came here, he is electric. His electricity is enough to really start helping shape and change the locker room. And as you do that, the guys want to win. They're not here for paychecks anymore. Look at last year, Trevor, everybody in the chat room. I think looking at the Lions, it was just hey, we're here. We're trying to basically show and prove that I'm a good player so that I can move on from the Lions and go to a better team with a winning chance. That's my outlook of what the 2019 season wrong year. The 2020 season was. It felt like everybody was like, I'm just trying to get mine. I don't want that anymore. Number one, in order to be successful, is a team that says we're the Lions. The best example of this is the Buffalo Bills. To me, so many people hear the Bills, they hear, oh, Buffalo, nobody wants to go to Buffalo. Buffalo sucks. Buffalo this, Buffalo that. The team sucks. The team has sucked forever. They lost 4 Super Bowls back in the 90s, blah, 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 blah. But what happens is you get a guy like Sean McDermott and Bean in there. And between the two of those, they begin to shape the culture. I want a culture shift, and it's happening. It's happening before our eyes. And with that, all these guys on the Bills don't want to play anywhere else. They love the city of Buffalo. They love their teammates, and they want to bring a Super Bowl to that city. So number one, I want culture buy-in. Number two, for the record, we have to win, in my opinion, to be successful and to see where this team is going. 6 wins. It's going to be tough looking at our schedule, but I think 6 wins minimally says we are moving in the correct trajectory. Less than 6 wins, it's hard. It's hard for that buy-in. It's hard to get guys be like, yeah, you know what? I'm all about this. But I think we really need that 6-win window. That window will allow the culture to continue to build around a team that is rebuilding, or rather retooling. Again, I just want to thank everybody for being here this morning. I know it's 11:18 in the morning. I really do appreciate you all joining. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I was like, it's a Saturday morning. I'm slamming some coffee. Hopefully you guys are too. We'll see who shows up. And 60 some odd of you said, I want to be there. I want to be with you. So thank you. Anyways, moving on. Yes, Jake Bishop calling it out as a successful season, 6-10. Well, actually, Jake, I don't know what you've heard, but we got 17 games this season. They just added another game, which really, now that I'm thinking about it, 7 wins would probably be better looking at it, because 7-10 is now the new. Oh man, the whole record. Man, you know what sucks is like hearing that these extra games have been added. All the records that exist are pretty much hoopla. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many new records that need to be broken, or need to be made, therefore be broken. So interesting with that 17th game added. It is against the Denver Broncos, which actually, interestingly enough, I don't know if all of you heard, Mitch Trubisky going to Buffalo. He was, from the rumor, offered to go to Denver to fight for the starting position. And he looked at that division and he was like, what, are you kidding me? You think I want to go play in that division? I'm going to go try to win a Super Bowl with Buffalo and be Josh Allen's backup. Which I'm like, good for you, man. Good for you. I don't blame you. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I think all in all, I think 6 wins even with the 17 game schedule, is still a successful year. I would like 7. Wow, the whole schedule thing is pretty screwed up. We got Micro Mike in the building saying 7 wins minimally. Micro Mike, if you guys have not subscribed to him, awesome channel. He's killing it over there. Brings you guys breaking news. Super cool dude. Go check him out. Be sure to go sub to his channel. He's an excellent Lions YouTuber. Let's see who else. We got Ryan. Can't pronounce your last name. He digs the podcast. Thank you, everybody, for liking this podcast, for subscribing to Let's Talk Lions. You guys are all incredible. Let's see here. Ooh, Steve DeYoung, do you see us getting Zaven Collins in the second round, or will he be gone by then? My man, Zaven Collins will be long gone, like Long John Silver. He will not be around come the second round. That is at least my assumption, my guess. I think Zaven Collins should be picked up in the top 20, will be picked up in the top 20. That's my assumption. Yes, let's see here. We got a couple other guys dropping it in. Do you like the 17th game added by Francisco Lazoya? Do I like it? As a fan of the game of football, I love it. It's an extra game. But as a human being, understanding what these men are going through on a week-to-week basis, I don't love it. It's kind of one of those, it's a double-edged sword, I guess you could say. You look at the player safety. Player safety is a huge issue. And how many guys are limping into the playoffs? And then they add an extra playoff team. And so all in all, when I look at it, the 17th game added is really nice as a fan, and it gives more chance to potentially make the playoffs. However, I don't like it because I want healthy teams in the playoffs. There's nothing worse than seeing in the last game of the season, game 16, somebody goes down with a torn ACL, and you're like, well, now that entire team's hopes and dreams of a playoff game and a playoff win is hereby dead. I look at, again, the Buffalo Bills and a guy like Cole Beasley getting injured in the last game. I think it was the last game of the season for them. Maybe it was the second to last. The guys are scraping so hard, so far to get to the playoffs, to get to the end of the season. I do not like it. It's in that regard, not a fan. My guy Plan B is with me. He says agreed with one of these, a little thumbs up. Let's see. Wow. We got, again, Micro Mike. He's happy that he took out the week 4 preseason game. It is a useless game. I do agree. The preseason as a whole, I really think should only be 2 games. Get your guys some reps, because you look at last year, very specifically, with no preseason and guys getting out there, there was a lot of miscommunication in game 1. A lot of guys got injured. Look at the Lions. Perfect example. The reason that we lost that game against the Bears, a lot of people are like, oh, it's because DeAndre Swift dropped the ball in the end zone. Let's just go back an entire quarter. We were shutting Mitch Trubisky was terrible for the first 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, when we were at our third string cornerbacks, like, that's when he came alive. He picked apart, I forget who it was. I'm sure it was just a rookie, just got out there and got absolutely diced by Mitch Trubisky because he was a third stringer. He should not have been out there. We had Trufant went down. I forget everybody who ended up going down. Pretty sure Justin Coleman went down. Like, we lost our entire quarterback field, and that's how they ended up winning, because it was at the end of the third quarter going into the fourth. And then they just picked them apart. They picked them apart. And that's why I look at the preseason as a way to get your reps in, to be prepared, and really just try to not get injured going into the beginning of the season. Oh, let's see. We got Continental Gamer. He says, who will the Lions take in the second round? Great question. So I am still sticking with my prediction of Asante Samuel Jr., at least at this point, until a couple more moves are made. He is the cornerback. Looking at him out of Florida, right? Asante Samuel Jr., Though there is not a lot about him, you guys could check it out. I put out a video about it. Not a lot about him that you're like, oh yeah, like I love this guy, but it's good enough to have to draft in to learn under some other guys, learn under a guy like Cornelder, who great move by the Lions, by the way. But I look at Asante Samuel Jr. and his potential of development under Aaron Glenn as a solid second round draft pick. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I would rather draft a wide receiver in the second round. I am predicting a cornerback, potentially a safety. However, I would rather a wide receiver in either the second round or third round if we are to pick up Micah Parsons in the first. Everything hinges on that first round draft pick, which is why draft is going to be so much fun. I'm pretty amped on it. Let's see here. I also had, let's see. Right here from Kyle Massey asking, do the crazy pro days from Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase change your outlook at 7 at all? I'd love to see either of them in Honolulu Blue. Yeah, once again, looking at the entire draft as a whole, definitely excited. I'm really not going to be upset. Like I said earlier, for those of you who are just joining, I'm not going to be upset unless we draft a quarterback at that first seventh round spot. That's the only position that I don't want to draft, I think. Or, I mean, there's a lot of positions, but a lot of players I wouldn't want to. But looking at who's projected in the top 10, if we walk away with Smith, if we walk away with Chase, if we walk away with Kyle Pitts, here's what I'm going to say. I was not aboard the Kyle Pitts train until that pro day. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like that guy at 6'6", 245, 46 pounds, his catch radius, his yards after catch, like that guy is a Calvin Johnson Jr. in a way and would be ferocious, specifically looking at his versatility at the position of tight end, being able to bounce between wide receiver, because he literally could just become a wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. And if he is a wide receiver, the matchup of a 6'6" guy versus a 6 foot cornerback, a 6 foot, like you're looking at potentially absolutely mismatching and dominating. It's difficult because at that 7th spot, I know that Lions fans, we are all very much like, oh my God, not another tight end. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all sitting there and we're just like, this is not, I don't want another tight end. Eric Ebron's existence has filled my eye sockets in a way that you can never erase. You know what I'm saying? You know when you see something so terrible that you can never get it out of your mind? That's Eric Ebron. I can hear the ball bouncing off of his hands still, reverberating in Ford Field in a way that nobody should ever have to ever again. And honestly, here we go. Man, so many guys. You guys are all correct. We've got Sarashard Iozia. Great name. Pitts is a mismatch nightmare. Yes, he is. Jake Bishop calling it again. If Pitts could turn into something along the lines of Kelsey, really, seriously, another Travis Kelsey, a dynamic tight end. And I want you to think about the combination of Pro Bowler TJ Hawkinson and Kyle Pitts. He is basically a tank at the wide receiver position. That is correct. We also got, him and Hawk on the field at the same time. You got it, man. Like I think Kyle Pitts, I will be happy. I will be happy if we draft Pitts. I'll be happy if we draft Chase. I'm not going to be upset unless it is a QB. Let me scroll back up here. I think we see. Oh, here we go. Ravers Kicks. Hey, man, big fan. Thank you, Ravers Kicks. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate your love, your support. I appreciate all of your guys' love and support of the channel. We got 76 people watching right now. Mind blowing. Thank you for being here on this Saturday morning. Ravers Kicks asks, quick questions. If Fields or Lance falls to our pick at 7 and we don't get a good trade back option, would you consider taking a QB to sit behind Goff or draft Devontae Smith or a defensive player? Great question. Looking at the two of them between Fields and Lance, I don't want either of them. I don't. I would rather wait until the following season to look to potentially draft a quarterback. I think with the restructuring of Jared Goff's contract and him now actually being with us, we know he's with us this 21 season. We know he's with us 22. We're not taking a $30 million dead cap hit. So to know that we have him for at least 2 more seasons, it creates a cushion to potentially draft a quarterback next year. And we might be bad enough to be able to draft a good quarterback next year. Not to mention all of the draft capital that Holmes has attained this offseason that we could potentially use as a trade. So I do not like that idea. I don't want Lance. I don't want Fields. Just, very, very specifically, I was watching the Pat McAfee show yesterday and looking at the way Dan Orlovsky was on there. Big Dan Orlovsky. Love that guy. And he was expressing the unnatural throwing motion of Justin Fields, of that ball coming underneath where he drops it and slings it. And looking at that, I don't trust it. It's an unnatural throwing position. And yeah, he could develop into something great. But in this league, look at the guys that have lasted forever. It is the Aaron Rodgers. It is the Tom Brady. It's the guy dropping back, pocket passing, throwing from the backfield shotgun. Like it's not the guys running. It's the great arms that are able to not get hit, stay healthy for as long as possible. Great example is Mr. Cam Newton. Cam Newton last year, I was like, you look so terrible. And I cannot believe the Patriots re-signed him. All in all, I don't want mobility is great and I would love some mobility. But to me, how long is Lamar Jackson going to last? I'm not saying he's not going to last, but I'm just asking the question, how long is he going to last in this league? Josh Allen is a great example of somebody who is dynamic enough to run, loves to run, but my God, does he have a cannon? And if he wishes to, he could sit back there and toss all day. And you look at Josh Allen very specifically, how much more accurate he was this last year, how much more he improved. And so I don't want a Trey Lance. I don't want a Justin Fields. I don't want a mobile forward QB. I want somebody who is definitely has the arm strength to outlast their legs, if you will. Yes, Josh Allen is great. Let's see here. What else do we got? Yeah, you know what, Joe? This guy right here, Joe Santoro, never drafted an Ohio State QB. Name one in history that was successful. It is a great point, and it's tough because you don't want to just pigeonhole and be like, oh, you went to Ohio State, therefore you're never going to make it in the NFL. You don't want to do that. However, you're not wrong. You got to look at the track record. There's something about it. What is it? Why is there no QB to have made it thus far? Jonathan Foster bringing up Cam Newton. Cam's got some weapons. Might be surprised. You know what? The Patriots, Bill Belichick, as long as that guy's around, I think the Patriots will always be around until that man either quits or moves on into the sun, one could say. Let's see here. I had another question. How are you, man? From Cam. Hey, Cam. I've been great. Life's good. Thanks for asking. Vacation was good. Honestly, something that I learned over vacation was taking a step back from my real job, taking a step back from this, getting away, my wife and I enjoying, and I realized how much I love Let's Talk Lions. I realized truly, how like you figure out how passionate you are about something when it's taken away. That's kind of what it was when we left and we're hiking around. And at the end of the night, I was like, man, I just want to make some videos. I just want to talk to my Let's Talk Lions community, have some discussion. Things have been good, but I really realized how passionate I am about doing this with you guys. Let's see here. Some other questions. If you guys want to drop them in, feel free. I think all in all, you know what? Another one that somebody had reached out to me regarding Sewell or Slater. And you know what? I did a little digging, kind of looking at both guys, both Sewell and Slater. Before I get there, thank you all for liking this video. Thank you for being here today. And if you're watching this on the replay, God bless you. You are a champion, and I appreciate you greatly. Drop your thoughts in the comments. That is helpful. And if you guys are not subscribed already, maybe do that, because it's very good. It's very good for your brain to have that. Let's see. I was talking about Penei Sewell and Rashawn Slater. Both guys opted out in 2020. And really looking at Slater, Slater is the smaller of the two. He's 6'3", 305 pounds, which is, I think he's like 3 inches smaller, 2 inches smaller than Sewell. Yeah, Sewell's 6'5", 331 pounds. So a bigger, broader dude. And looking at Sewell very specifically, he ran a 5:09.40 yesterday, or not yesterday, back in his pro day. He has a 28-inch vertical jump and a 9'1" broad jump. And those numbers are good. Those are great numbers. And so looking at Sewell, there is that he's a generational talent, as I was talking earlier. And the fear of that tag on him being tagged as a generational talent, people just being much more salivating over the individual and just wanting to draft him based on that. I am bummed both guys didn't play last year. Would have loved more film, much more on them. And then you look at a guy like Slater. He's 6'3", 305. He's 20 pounds lighter, it looks like, ish. And though his size, he does have a size disadvantage. He only allowed 2 sacks over the last 2 years, and Sewell had allowed only 1. And so looking at both guys, I think they're quite comparable. I really do. A lot of people look and they're just like, oh, for some reason you were glitching on my computer. Sorry about that. I am very sorry. You know, I'll look into that a little bit more, maybe get a different video card reader and we'll fix that up. But yeah, looking at the two of them, looking at Slater, looking at Sewell, I think both guys are pretty comparable. Sewell being better, but not by much. And so to me, like, you look at Cincinnati, and if they do take Sewell and Slater's there, I don't think he's a bad option for the Lions to consider. And really, how much that would beef up our O-line and create more protection for Goff. If Goff has protection, and really with our new running back duo between Williams and DeAndre Swift, between the two of them, I think Goff is going to have some solid protection. So let's see here. I saw another question coming in from Jake Bishop. Do you think Sheila Ford could and will bring some redemption to the Ford regime? 100%. I think she already is. I really do. I think she already is bringing the redemption, because, like, even simply hearing her, the moment she hired Chris Spielman, it was like, okay, all right, cool. Like that's good. But then you start watching the hiring after hiring after hiring. And at one point I just started looking around and I was like, man, this woman wants to win. She doesn't want the same old Lions. She's not looking to fill the stadium, because not that you can. She's not looking to just sell merch and make the money. She wants to bring a winning team to Detroit, and she has done everything in her power to do such a thing. And there's so much excitement in that. Very specifically, I look at the way that she approached, what's his name? Harris, right? New defensive edge. She goes up to him and says, get the quarterback. Those are her words. Go get the quarterback. I don't know if Martha Ford ever met any of our players. Sometimes I wonder if she even knew where she was. I'm not going to dig too deep into that. But yes, I 100% believe that Sheila is bringing redemption to the Lions organization, but also to the Ford name. I would love to see the Lions be good in one way, just for her, just to prove, like, she wanted a job in the NFL back when she graduated college, and there were no jobs for women. And now, man, if she could turn the Detroit Lions around and shut up the national media, my God, I will bake a cake with her face on it and send it straight to Ford Field. But it'd be paleo. I got some great paleo recipes if anybody's interested. Oh man, let's see. Anthony, can't pronounce your last name. Always coffee, or do you mix in Monsters and Red Busy every now and then? No, I do not mix it. I've actually never had an energy drink in my life. Just let that one sink in. Never. I guess coffee's an energy drink in a way. But yeah, no, I've never had any sort of Monster, or I can't even name any other energy drink. Not one. Can't name one. It's Monster. Oh, that new one came out. What's it called? Bang? Still, no. And like that was a craze. I remember being in high school and all these people drinking it, and I was like, I ain't got time for that. I just want my peanut butter and jelly. Moving on. Let's see. Steve DeYoung, is there any possibility that for day one of the draft, you would have a live stream collaboration with Micro Mike or Dose of Dion 2.0? I do want to throw this out there. I've actually, with Micro Mike, he is hosting a draft night, which I will definitely be popping into. I was going to be hosting my own before I even knew that Micro Mike was going to do it. And I was going to have on a couple different fans from different teams and have them on and just kind of have our own thing and just chill. But at some point, I will definitely be over at Micro Mike's draft night. That will happen. And as for Dosa Dion, I reached out to him, and him and I have connected, and we are going to do a collaboration. Not sure when, where, what it will look like, but me and Dosa Dion have talked, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen with you guys. Let's see. Would you be cool with Najee Harris in round 2 for the Lions, giving them a hell of a 1-2 punch at running back? Yes, I would. I think Harris is incredible and offers a lot. It is tough because I look at the signing of Jamal Williams to the 2-year contract and all that Jamal Williams offers. I'm always afraid of running backs, especially drafting them early, simply because running backs don't last long in the NFL. I think of somebody like Todd Gurley. It's always hard to watch. Not even Todd Gurley. Let's look at Kerryon Johnson. Didn't even make it a season, didn't even make it 6 games. And he was supposed to restore the hope of the running back position in Detroit. And so running backs are tough anywhere in the first 2 rounds. And I do fear that he won't make it as long as that we need him to, especially in the rebuild. And so when I look at the 1-2 punch already of Swift and of Williams, and I am in love with that 1-2 punch. I am happy with where we are there. I would say if we drafted him in the 2nd round, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not mad at it. I get it, but I would rather see a wide receiver in the 2nd round. Let's go on. Oh my God. What do we have? Jake Easy Phipps. Do you think the Lions should bring back the black uniforms? Thanks for just going all caps lock. I love it. I love the dedication. You know what? This is a good question because I was sitting with my wife yesterday and I heard Rod Wood discuss about potential new uniforms. Black and blue don't mix well. They don't. I think I am in the minority. I love the Detroit Lions uniforms as they stand right now, specifically our home blues, our Thanksgiving throwbacks, and I love our color rush. And I know that is a coin flip for a lot of people. I think our color rush is so good looking. It makes me want to say bad words. Like, I love our color rush uniform. And I know a lot of you have just lost a lot of respect for me. And that is what it is. I don't care. But black uniforms, no, I don't like the Lions black uniforms. I didn't like the way they mixed with the blue. It looked a little bit grungier. It wasn't as sleek as it could have been. I mean, if they had gone black and white only and just like maybe a blue accent, then it would have been okay. But all in all, the black unis, not a fan of the black unis. Jonathan Foster, he's calling it in. Yeah, the color rush is, I know you meant not rich, but the color ruch is fire. It is so nice. I love that all slate gray. I think it looks great. Yeah, you know what? And then you got James Willis. He does not like the color rush. Gray sucks. That's rough. That's really rough, man. But yeah, no black unis. Let's see here. We have more questions. Let me go back up a little bit. Yeah, Cameron, can't pronounce the last name. Woj, Cameron Woj. A show with me and Dose will be epic, pure fire. It will be. Looking forward. Dose of Dion is truly a legend. I love that guy. If you guys don't sub to him, then please do. He is an incredible. He's a hardworking young dude, absolutely bringing excellent content always to Detroit Lions fans. Let's move on. I think. Oh, here we got. Wow, Ravers Kicks bringing it in again. Let's see here. If we draft wide receiver round 1, does it feel like last year to you all over again? An absolute wash. Trading Slay for picks and then immediately drafting his replacement at the 3rd overall, or letting Galladay walk and drafting his replacement. That's a good question. First and foremost, this is really fun, guys. I'm having a really good time just solo living with you. I didn't know what to expect today. I was like, oh, you know what? I have not done a solo live. I had my buddy on the other time. But you guys are awesome. Really appreciate you all being here. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't say it feels like a wash. Galladay, for the price, it would not be the same. Last year felt like a wash. Last year did. You know what? Trading Slay away and then drafting Okudah, it hurt. It was like we all saw it coming months in advance. It just felt like we had been stabbed, and everybody's like, "Hey, don't pull out the knife yet. Don't pull it out yet. You'll just die a little bit quicker." So we all just like kept the knife lodged into us. We were like, "Oh my god, oh my god." We all knew that it was going to happen, and it is what it is. And it felt like a wash with Jeff Okudah, especially because he had the groin injury. And God, Matt Patricia, what a joke. This year, however, I think I'm not gung ho for a wide receiver in that first round. That's not where I'm pushing. I would rather, if we're going to go for that wide receiver, just get Kyle Pitts. Personal opinion. I'd rather pick up Pitts before Smith, Waddle, Chase. That's my own personal opinion because of his versatility, size, speed, all of it. Running a 4.4. Anyways, I don't think it would be a wash because of the talent in those 3 wide receivers specifically. It would not feel like a wash. I think that they would get in there and be immediate impacts for the Detroit Lions. And so that's why it would not be a wash. Would it sting a little? Yeah, it would feel like watching Braveheart and have to get to the end and you just sit there and you're like, well, son of a bee. Moving on. Ryan, bringing it in. I think that Okudah will bounce back. How well can a person perform with a groin injury? Quite frankly, I'm not a doctor. I don't know how well they can perform, but based on his performance, about as good as he did. No, I'm with you. I think he will bounce back. I think he'll bounce back under Aaron Glenn. The amount of dysfunction that the Lions organization was as a whole was too much. And I mean, Jeff Okudah came out and he talked about the dysfunction and going from the all is perfect world of Ohio State being incredible, coming into the NFL and that bubble getting popped. And so, yeah, I think he will bounce back. And I think he'll actually have great mentorship, great leadership. And I think that we will see a different Jeff Okudah. Let's see here. Holmes is a draft Jedi. He's trading down from multiple picks. Next year's draft is going to be golden. I'm with you, Joe. I'm really looking forward to. It's so bizarre having a good GM. It's so bizarre having a GM who's actually looking for, who just knows what they're doing, who's actually able to scout talent, scout good talent for the Lions down the road. It's so nice to have somebody who wants to be here. It doesn't feel like a stepping stone. That's really what it felt like. So much of, going with, between what's their name, Quinn and Patricia. it just felt like a stepping stone. It felt like they were trying to get their way into being like, hey, I led the Lions from crap to like half of a crap. And instead it all backfired and somehow Matt Patricia crawled back to his vomit like a dog and got his job back over with New England. What a shame. Oh, I would love to see that man never have no, that's terrible. That's not true. You can have a job again in the NFL, just not anywhere. Anyways. Oh my God. Kyle, you are too good. This is the first ever donation that Let's Talk Lions has ever received. Appreciate the content and advice. Kyle, you are a stud of a human being. That is far too kind of you. My mind is a little bit blown. That's you're far too generous, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I love bringing you guys the content. I love bringing you guys Lions information, news, and just sharing my thoughts and the fact that you guys respect them. And even when you disagree, you guys are awesome. And you disagree, but you're not ever terrible about it. So I definitely appreciate it. Let's see here. What else do we got? Oh man, Anthony, this is terrible of you, but I'm going to put it on there. Let's see here. Man, I will have to admit I was pretty excited about the beard and pencil too. You know what? Like it's always tough because when new people come in, it's tough because I always want to show love. I want to give respect where respect is due and say, okay, you know what? Like I want to buy in. I want to buy in and believe and hope and be there to back up. But Matt Patricia, after year one, I felt like a dog in a cage, and I just started like going into the corner, and I was like, oh my God, like this might be really terrible, and we might have to deal with this for a couple years now. And then you move into year two, and it went even worse. And I feel like at some point, you stop believing in him, and it was hard not to hate on him. And then last year, I just couldn't wait for him to get fired. And I had so many people being like, hey, like, do you really want him to get fired midseason? Because if he's already losing with you, you guys can pretty much tank. I don't love tanking. I don't love that at all. But the idea of just coming to terms with, wow, we are a bad team this year and leadership is dysfunctional. And so looking at Dan Campbell, I am so excited. How do you guys feel about Dan Campbell as the head coach? It feels different. It feels different, just like this guy. Why You Always Lying? That's a great name. This regime is different, and it is. Everything has been sensible. It has been. That's the number one word that one of you guys even dropped in there at one point. Wow. We'll get to that. Yeah, basically being like, hey, this is a sensible regime. And I love it. And so here we go. Another donation. Oh my God, from Jackson Landry. We must protect Jay at all costs. That I'm a little afraid. I don't know what I'm being protected from. Hopefully nobody's barging through that door in 5 seconds. But no, I appreciate it. Thank you, Jackson. I appreciate the love. I appreciate you guys all absolutely backing me up always with all that I do here. You guys are incredible. Thank you, Jackson. That is incredibly, incredibly generous of you. Let's see here. Jonathan Foster, as a diehard Lions fan, I believe in this regime, but there's a chance it might not change. And you know what? That is correct. You're right. You're right. And I think that's something that we all have to come to terms with, is saying, you know what? This might not work. And it feels different. It is different, but we all have to understand, this it could fall apart. And if it falls apart, I will say this, Jonathan, and everybody else out here. If this falls apart, at least we went down swinging, right? Like at least it was different. At least we gave it something incredibly different, incredibly new, and there was not the same old crap. Like Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes are doing everything to make this what it needs to be. And that is the potential of a winning organization. And watching the Bears right now, even watching the Vikings, like Green Bay is going to be good for another couple years, but when's Aaron Rodgers leaving? What's their future? All in all, yeah, I believe in this regime too. As a diehard fan, but also as an NFL fan, just watching, I think that the Lions could and will turn around. But if they don't, at least we tried something new. Yeah, we got Devin Peters saying the same thing. that he feels great about the new regime. Having the dude in here. Let's see. Here's a question. Here's a question. Where the H did the defense against the Chiefs go? Remember when we punched out all those footballs in one game? I do remember that. I remember sitting there and I was like, is this all they practice? Is this all that the defense practiced over the weekend was just slugging the ball? That's a game I don't want to remember because of the whole, I think that was Kerryon Johnson, like 2 feet from the end zone when the refs were like, hey, you know what we're not going to do? We're not going to blow the whistle. Like, I actually get very infuriated about that because what was Galladay going to do? You tackle that guy, you get an unsportsmanlike conduct. Like, to me, they just, that felt like a setup. That felt like a setup. I don't even want to get into it. I can't get into it. Let's see here. Steve DeYoung, to quote Pat McAfee, the Lions might lose some games this year, but it will at least be fun to watch with the new coaching staff. Absolutely. This new coaching staff, a bunch of player coaches that made impacts in the NFL as players, but also as coaches, will be incredible. I am so amped. Even if we only win 5 games, 4 games, hey, you know what? It's going to be fun. It's going to be different. I am excited to watch an entirely new Detroit Lions team get out on that field. Let's see here. Yeah, obviously we're ready to bite some kneecaps. And Ravers Kicks, great content as always, bro. Love your takes. You remind me of a young Dan Miller. And if you're still going live on draft night, ESPN will be muted. Wow, that is far too kind of you, Ravers Kicks. I appreciate it. We will be going live. I'll have some other buddies on here from other teams as well. This way we get a couple other takes. We got 4 minutes left. I was going to stream until noon because let's face it, you're probably all out of coffee at this point, and you could use some more. So if you have any other questions, drop them in there. Let's see. Yeah, don't be surprised. John Roberts, don't be surprised if we turn around earlier than expected. When players want to play for a coach, it makes a huge difference. John, you're absolutely right. When you look at all the players last year, Galladay, obviously with that injury, he didn't want to play for Patricia. Matt Stafford didn't want to play for Patricia. Like, nobody wanted to play for that coaching staff. And you saw that the moment Darrell Bevell became the interim head coach, the way things uplifted, the way the players' hearts changed, and they wanted to be more, to do more, to actually, it felt like they actually wanted to win as a team rather than as individuals. And so in the same way, I won't be surprised if we're able to turn this around and Goff gets out there and we go 8-9. Oh my God, what is it now? 8-9. Oh, I hate this new record thing. How do you guys feel about playing Denver? Going to Denver against Big Drew Lock. You guys excited about that? Oh, Paul Mitch coming in. Which second round pick do you got circled? As I said earlier in this episode, I do have Asante Samuel Jr. as my prediction for the Lions. Not going to lie, the wide receiver from LSU, Marshall, would be a solid second round pick as well. I think he's from LSU. My brain is starting to go on me. But I think that he could be a potentially great second round pick for the Lions. But I do think Asante Samuel Jr. as a cornerback, because our cornerback depth is limited, thus bringing in Corn Elder. I got the question coming in. Let's see here. What kind of camera do I use from Steve-O? You know what? It's hard. For live stream, I'm using the Panasonic GH5, but in regular, can't reach it. Otherwise, I use this Sony A7C. I don't know if you guys can see that. It doesn't matter. It's a great camera. Love this thing. But I use this for all my regular videos. For live streaming, I'm using the Panasonic GH5. Just toss that down there. Let's see here. Francisco. No, you know what? I have not seen Sammy Reyes. Not enough. I can't even give you anything else about him. I will definitely look him up. I'm putting out videos about players right now, draft prospects for the Lions. So I'll look into Sammy Reyes and maybe we'll do another one there. And you know what? For CT Turtles, Joseph Dion has great info, but he's pretty tough to listen to. Be fun to see you guys connect and collab with Everything King. I don't know who Everything King is, but I guess I'll look them up. And you missed it earlier. I will be collabing with Dose of Dion here soon. Also, we'll be getting some merch in here pretty soon. I'm excited. You guys know I love wearing bandanas. I don't have one right now, but we are making Let's Talk Lions bandanas for the crew. So we will be getting some merch in here pretty quick. And you know what? We are coming down to the end. Get those questions in. I don't blame Matt Stafford for not wanting to win for Matt Patricia. Yeah, no, me neither. Me neither. I don't blame him at all. Let's see. I think we might have to call it a quit for the day. This has been fun, everybody. I appreciate you being here. If there's no more questions, I don't Donald, I don't know what this means. Where does Jay find phone booths these days to turn it to Superman? If I was Superman, that'd be a great day, but I'm more of a Spider-Man guy. That's just my own personal take. Thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you guys all coming out to the Saturday morning live stream, answering your questions live, really just hanging out with you. This has been a blast. I've had a really good time. And yeah, this has been good. This has been good. And you know what's nice is as we've grown here at Let's Talk Lions, I think the most difficult thing is I was doing Q&As where you guys would drop your questions in. But as we've grown, look at all the questions that we have coming. It's so much more. This is so nice to simply be able to look at your stuff, look at the questions, and then end up being able to comment directly back. This is fun. I had a great time. You know what's funny? I don't know if any of you guys watch Rhett and Link. Back in the day when I was like 16 years old, I found those guys and they were live streaming way back. Oh my God, some 10, 15 years ago, live streaming. And I was like, this is a weird thing. People just live streaming themselves. And here I am some 10, 15 years later, just doing it. So anyways, thank you guys. Appreciate you all liking. Appreciate you all commenting, subscribing. Carl Cameron finishing it out with a solid Let's Talk Lions. Thank you for being here. And I will see you Monday with new information, new videos, unless something drops tomorrow, and then another live stream Saturday next week. I hope you all have a fantastic Easter. Enjoy it. Smash some dark chocolate for me. God. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I will catch you all next time. Thanks for being here on Let's Talk Lions.